First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizer of this conference, especially Forum for Awareness on the National Security, Professor Mazhar Asif Saab, Golak Bihari ji, and my good friend Dr. Mehtab Alam Rizvi for the invite. I am also thankful to my other organizing committee members for providing me this opportunity. Today I am going to speak on India's geopolitical ambitions in Caucasus and Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. So the topic is a little bit different from the other presentations that we were discussing about lot of the things in common like culture, connectivity and all. This is also related with the connectivity and all, but it is mainly focused on the security issue. So since several decades, as we know that the South Caucasus has not been the focus area for India, and India has not been the major player in the region. However, in the past several years, India's interest in the region grows, and India boosted its neighborhood policy. And recently, South Caucasus has been the center of attraction due to the pan-Turkish ambitions. And the South Caucasus economic and infrastructure potential is also a center of attraction for India in the present days. And when we see the major countries in the South Caucasus like Georgia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, these countries, they began to attract the large Eurasian and non-Eurasian state attention, and these are the influential players as far as being the US, Russia and European Union in that particular region. But in the recent times we see the role of Turkey, a special role I can say, to a lesser degree, like Iran is also having a role there, but India is very late comer in terms of that. But India's interest, when we saw that, when we see our geopolitical, geostrategic position, and when we talk of Kashmir especially, and the kind of the support Pakistan is getting from Azerbaijan on the issue of the Kashmir, particularly with the help of Turkey too. So that is a counterproductive kind of the approach of India to support Armenia, and recently there was a statement by Azerbaijan president that is an unfriendly move. So a lot of the things are connected in this paper. So I have used some theories in it. One is the hegemonic stability theory, the soft power and the realist one. So in view of the present engagement of India with Central Asia or this Caucasus as a shift from soft power diplomacy to a realist posture. So to better put the perspectives, the two theories that has been chosen are the neoliberal kind of the institutionalism and the realist theory. So the two quote Organsky here. So it is the kind of the balance of power I am talking in terms of the Armenia-Azerbaijan vis-a-vis Kashmir issue. So it is not the balance of power that leads to the peace, but rather than the imbalance of the power, and the world peace is guaranteed when the nation satisfied with the existing international order or enjoy an unchallenged supremacy of power. And the major wars are most likely when a dissatisfied challenger achieves an approximate balance of power with the dominant power, unquote. When we talk of the realism, I must mention here the Kenneth Walsh and the Gilpin. They argue that the states are the basic actors in the IR or the international system, and by arguing that the behavior of the other actors is conditioned and delimited by the state decision and state power. So same is the case with the India-Armenia or the Azerbaijan relationship. Let me have some brief on Armenia and Azerbaijan. So India and Armenia enjoying a great relationship. Lot of people have mentioned in terms of the Central Asian state. So they are India-Armenia too have the friendship treaty that was signed in 1995 in New Delhi, and lot of agreements were signed after that in the field of commerce, culture, tourism, education, defense, science and technology, IT and all. So from the time to time, India also extended assistance to Armenia. For example, India donated $2.2 million US dollar in cash and US $1.1 million relief supplies after the catastrophic earthquake in 1988. And a lot of the things that I am having here, but I am having the paucity of time that I have to bind up my presentation within the 10-minute time. So India traditionally has great relations with Russia too. Russia as a strategic ally. And both Russia and India, because mention of Russia is very important here, as Russia and India share the common membership of the SCO as well as the BRICS. And India's interest in Armenia grows, as I mentioned, Azerbaijan, a rival of Armenia, and Pakistan forged a close partnership. As Armenia is in conflict with Baku over the Nagorno-Karabakh, it is a bone of contention between both the countries. And Pakistan is the only state in the world which doesn't recognize Armenia's independence and therefore fosters the close contact with the Azerbaijan. That is the one point. So this geopolitical situation brought Armenia and India to closer military, technological and diplomatic relations with India. For example, in 2017, an Indian delegation headed by the then Vice President Muhammad Hamid Ansari, and he visited, it was a visit after 25 years, and India actively started discussing the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict after that. So as the relationship is going strong, the Armenian government granted India kind of defense deals like 40 million defense deal to supply the India-produced weapons, Swathi. This is a multiple projectiles fired from the different weapons at different locations. In this tender, Indians were reportedly outbid Russia and Poland. So it is very important here because Russia has been the supplier of weapons to both Armenia and Azerbaijan before, but here India win the bid to supply these weapons prepared by the DRDO. And the 2 years later, India and Armenia signed another $245 million worth of arm deal that include India sending missiles and other offensive and defensive systems. The exact details of the deals have not been made public so far, but given the situation between the Armenia and Azerbaijan. So Armenia forces are also interested to have Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launchers and Konkurs M anti-tank guided missiles from India also. And these are reports that Azerbaijani, this Armenian leadership, they also want to upgrade their this Russian-built Su-30 SM flanker fighter jets too. And after this kind of the defense deal or the current recent supply of the previous consignment, the Azerbaijani President Aliyev called India's supply of weapon to the adversary Armenia as an unfriendly move. And it was a great kind of the debate among the Azerbaijani circle that how to balance this kind of the situation. But beyond geopolitics, both the countries have strong people-to-people contacts between, like in 2016, 1,119 Indian nationals received residency in Armenia. In 2017, more than 1,000 again, and 2018, almost 1,000. And India's export to Armenia was like $55.02 million during 2021. So this has been whole situation of Armenia. When we talk of Azerbaijan, India and Azerbaijan have, they also have a centuries-old historical and cultural relations. Some cultural kind of the things we can give example like the Atishgard, a fire temple in Baku, that is having Devangiri and Gurumukhi wall inscriptions, and lot of like this cinema, music, like Raj Kapoor, he introduced and the Azerbaijani music in the Indian film industry. So presently, if we talk of the contemporary time, the India's relationship with Azerbaijan are mainly driven by the political realism. Through Azerbaijan is close to India's, as I mentioned, close to the Pakistan. In the recent year, India engaged with Azerbaijan's advantageous geographical and economic composition, as the bilateral trade has grown from around $50 million in 2005 to $922 million in 2018. And in 2019, the trade turnover constitute over 1.1 billion. Moreover, by 2020, there are over 200 Indian companies operating in Azerbaijan with over $1.2 billion investment, which is greater than when we combine Georgia and Armenia. So it is the highest one. So India's major exports that I mentioned, that electronic, this medicine, drugs, so other kind of, so India's global rise, now the question comes that why India is supporting or providing this India made weapons to Armenia. So India's global rise in the military technology now is another potential area for the military cooperation, not with the in terms of we cannot only solely see this in terms of the rivalry, but since Russia previously was providing weapons both Armenia and Azerbaijan, so in the same case India can also have a military cooperation with Azerbaijan too. So geopolitically, the Azerbaijan's strategic location as a starting point in the South Caucasus energy corridor makes the country attractive to India. It is no wonder that a quick growth in a bilateral trade between the two states took place when the opening of the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan oil pipeline and Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway materialized. As a result, Indian oil companies have been buying substantial quantities of the crude oil from this corridor. And India's export to the Azerbaijan in 2021 was $144.67 million. And India's import from Azerbaijan was $594.43 million. So this has been the case in the point. So thus both the South Caucasus states are said to gain exponentially on the economic and in some cases military realms, and from the establishing deeper cooperation with India. An active and deep engagement of India can result into the connectivity to the Caspian and Black Seas and would allow India to connect the European market. So India to have strategic and military dimensions, economic dimensions in it. And in the recent developments, it is very important to in Afghanistan following the Taliban takeover, the US to set up a new quadrilateral diplomatic platform focused on enhancing regional connectivity involving the US, Afghanistan, Pakistan and Uzbekistan. But the US withdrawal gave China a clear-cut chance of involving in the affairs of Central Asia, particularly in the Caucasus, for a leadership role, and that had direct implications to India's strategic and economic interests. So the growing role of Turkey in the region, as the very famous 2021 exercise, Three Brothers 2021 military exercise of Pakistan, Turkey and Azerbaijan began in Baku, and the contingents of special forces from Pakistan, Azerbaijan and Turkey participate in the joint exercise. So Turkey and India have a clash of interest, and Turkey has sided with Pakistan in comparison to India. Therefore, India is also to push against Turkey to make it remain in the grey list of the FATF for a long time, and also to quote Russia with a pro-Armenian stand. So there are also some reports that the private forces of the Turkey, these are some unconfirmed report I must mention here, but these are some reports that the private forces of the Turkey Sadat to engage in the India's integral part Kashmir. So the main point, let me summarize here, that Armenia strongly support India on the Kashmir on the one hand, and Azerbaijan strongly support Pakistan over Kashmir on the other hand. And Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Turkey played a great role to brought back the Nagorno-Karabakh from Armenia recently. And India's defense supplies to Armenia and Azerbaijan's concerns regarding the military supplies are the major point in this presentation. When we see in this conflict, when we talk of our national interest, because Kashmir is the issue of the national interest, because when we see the status of India's behavior, because any country that is having a civic political culture, India is having a civilizational kind of the culture, that we never interfere in the affairs of the others. But when we talk, when the question comes to about the national interest, then it's a counterproductive policy, that because I told that the political realism now taking place, because when we are having our issue and the Kashmir is a bone of contention between India and Pakistan, and this is in this time when we got a kind of support from friendly nations, like we are having a friendship treaty, we are having a good trade relationship with some other countries. But when the question comes to the national interest, then we need to think or reshape our foreign policy. So in this context, that despite being a peaceful nation, we produced peace leaders from this land like Gandhi, Nehru. So many peace icons we have produced, but on the other hand, when the question comes to our national interest, we need to change our stand. So this paper tells all about this. Thank you very much for the